From fluffy white line pillow donuts to irresistible yummy bread loaves, and then to super soft, extra yummy bread rolls. I can teach you how to make all this using one dough. Let's cook up something yummy. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So like I told you, this year 2025 is loaded and I meant every bit of it. So guys, today we are going to learn how to use one dough to make three different yummy recipes. So I have my butter, yeast, sugar and cinnamon powder, and in the other plate I have 2 eggs and my flour all measured out. Here in this bottle, I have my vanilla flavor and super milk flavor. I'm sorry the color is red. It's just because my red velvet color entered it while I was making red velvet cake. Okay, so don't mind the color. What's in there is actually vanilla flavor and super milk flavor. Okay, so guys, all these are measured out and you want to check the measurement in the description box. Okay, so for this you're going to pour in your flour into your mixer, and if you don't have a mixer it's fine, you can do this using your hand to knead your dough. Okay, and if you want to learn how to do that, you want to go to my agege bread class and you are going to learn how to knead your bread with your hands. Okay. Now, if you're excited about this video already, you want to subscribe, like, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to drop your comments. Okay. So into this, I'm just going to break in my eggs. Okay. So this is more like, just combining all your ingredients together into your mixer. And if you're kneading with your hand, you just want to combine all this into your bowl, and then you just, put in your water and you start kneading. But for practical example of how I knead with my hands, you want to go and watch my agege bread video, because that video is very detailed on how to, do your bread without your mixer. Okay. So I actually forgot to mention that I used milk for this recipe in the ingredients. Okay, so you can see I just added in my milk and then I went in with some water. Okay, please don't do too much. I actually don't give measurement for water, and that is because there are different types of flour and I don't know the brand of flour that you are using. Okay, so many brands take up so much water, while some don't take up so much water. So depending on the brand that you are using, you want to eyeball and gauge your water. Okay, so you want to do this maybe bit by bit. Okay, so you can see this is my dough, and I just wanted to show you, the consistency of the dough before I continue mixing. At this point the dough is not even near ready. Okay, so you want to keep mixing this until your dough gets quite stretchy. Okay, so you don't have to be in a hurry to do this, especially when you are hand kneading. Okay, so you want to take your time and do this, no hurry. Okay, because the fluffiness of your bread donut and bread rolls actually comes by your patience in your kneading. Okay, so you want to be very very patient and get a very stretchy dough. So you can see how nice, you can see, so this is what you are actually aiming at. So you can see how nice and stretchy this dough is. So this is actually the consistency that you are aiming at. Okay, so this is it. Okay, I had to knead that a little more, and then, because I want it to be super super fluffy. So you can see at this point the bread is very very stretchy, and I can beat my chest and tell you that there is nothing that would not make this bread to be fluffy. There is no how my donuts will not come out fluffy. So this is what you are aiming at. Okay, a very stretchy, nice looking dough that will give you the fluffiest bread ever. So like I mentioned before, you want to knead your dough until it is nice and stretchy, because if it is not stretchy enough, you won't have a soft bread. So I just took up my hand glove so that I wouldn't walk messier. Okay, so the dough was sticking to my glove, so I just had to, take out the gloves so that my work won't be messy and my gloves won't get messy. Okay, I can navigate my way through using my bare hands than using my gloves. And of course my hands are very very neat because I've washed them prior now. Okay, So you want to use your flour. If your dough gets really messy, just don't worry, dip your hands into your flour and then you can navigate your way through without your dough being so messy and sticking up, okay? So if you watch this video to this point, it means you love what you're seeing. You want to give us a thumbs up and then you go to the comment section and comment, I love this recipe. This is a commercial recipe, meaning that you can actually start a business with it. Yes, in as much as it is homemade, but it is very, very commercial. So you can actually start your donut business with this recipe. You can start making commercial breads with this recipe. I assure you this recipe is tested and it is trusted. Okay, I've used this recipe in time past and I am still using it. So like you can see, I'm just trying to work out the dough so that I can proof it for the first time. Okay, so I want to do my first proofing, and for this, I just want to like bring out the dough to the work surface, knead it a little bit on the work surface so that I can get everything nice and well incorporated. Okay, and that is exactly what I am doing here. You can see me using my flour over and over again because that is how to navigate your way when your dough gets really sticky and messy. So you can see me kneading this. So actually, if you're not using your hand mixer, this is what you are going to be doing from the beginning to this point. Okay, so that is the reason why you want to watch that agege bread recipe, because it is well detailed on how to use your hands to knead. Okay, so you're just going to go in with your butter into your bowl and then on the surface of your bread, and then you're going to throw it in to your bowl just like I did, and then you're going to allow this sit for as long as it doubles in size, and then you're going to bring it out and you can see that it has doubled in size. Now I'm going to flour my work surface and I'm going to bring my dough to the work surface, and then I will start cutting them into sizable parts that I need to make my donut, my bread loaf, and then my bread rolls. Okay, so this is me just kneading it a little just to get everything nice and clean, and also to deflect the air bubbles into the bread, the bread dough. Okay, so at this point I'm going to start cutting it, and for this you would actually need the help of your digital scale. Okay, so if you don't have this exact digital kitchen scale, you can go for the less expensive ones. Okay, and alternatively you can still eyeball it, but I love to measure my dough because I'm trying to get even weight for all my dough. Okay, so for example, for my donut, I actually measure out 75 to 80 grams of dough for my donut. Okay, for the big size I use 75 to 80 grams of dough, while for the small size I use 40 to 45 grams of dough. So you can see me measuring out my dough. I measure 75 to 80 grams. Sometimes I also use 85 grams. So it all depends on the size I actually want it to be, how big I want it to be. And this, I am consuming it at home. It is not for sale. So I'm actually using 85 grams because I actually want it to be big. But standardly, what I sell is 75 to 80 grams of donut, and it's actually quite normal, like it's quite normal, okay, in size. So actually, this is the first donut, and for this video, I'll be making just two donuts because this is a tutorial video on showing you how to use one dough to achieve three major things. That is your donut, your bread loaf, and your bread rolls. Okay, so you want to cut this out and you want to roll it exactly the same way I am doing. And then remember to pinch in the base of your donut so that you don't end up busting up the donut when you are frying. When your donut rises, it has a tendency of busting up. So aside the donuts, I'm now moving up to do my bread loaves. And for my bread loaves, I'll be measuring 350 to 400 grams for this exact size. Okay, so for this exact pan I am measuring 350 to 400 grams of my dough. Okay, so you also want to be very, very conscious of how you pan this bread. If you don't pan it well, you will see that like it will burst open. Okay, if you don't pan it well, it will burst open. So you want to actually take your time to properly pan this. And this video is on fast forward, so if you actually want to learn how to do this, you have to go and watch that agege bread video. I took my time to explain everything in details on how you need to do this. This video is more centered on how to teach you how to use one dough to make three things, and not actually how to teach you how to pan a bread. Okay, so you want to take your time and watch that agege bread video, which I will drop the link in the description box. So do well to check it out. Okay. So now I'm making my bread rolls, and for this bread rolls, I am using actually 25 to 30 grams of my dough. So I started by cutting out and weighing all the dough, and then I now went ahead to pan it. Okay. So for now, I'm just cutting and weighing the doughs, after which I will roll it properly and I will pan the bread doughs. Okay. So now, guys, I also want you to notice that before I panned my bread loaf, I buttered the pan and the cover. So you don't want to butter only the pan and leave the cover, just like I did for this bread roll pan. Okay. So you will butter the pan, and then for the loaf, you will also butter the cover of the pan. This is because when the bread will rise to the cover, when you are opening it, if you don't butter it, then it would not be able to pull out, like the cover would not pull out effectively. It would actually stick to the cover of the pan. So you want to take your time and also butter your pan very, very well. So at this point, I am, rolling up the bread rolls and panning it the way it should be. So how you also layer your bread rolls also matters. So you can see that I gave them space because they are going to rise. And I will just pop this up in the oven once it has risen. So you can see that this one has risen halfway into the pan. So I will just close it up, okay, just like this. And then the second one, I would also close it up. And when this gets into the oven, it will rise up to the cover, and it will make a perfect bread loaf just for you. Okay, so at this point, these breads have risen and the donut has risen the way that I want it. So I'm just going to fry up this donut. Like I said, I just made only two donuts, and this is for learning um purpose. Okay, so you can see me putting in the donut, and you can see the size of this donut. It's quite big. Okay, it's quite big. So you want to actually start by frying your donut on low heat. Okay, on low heat until the first part is brown, and you want to use enough oil. I'm not actually using enough oil here, and that is why I have a little bit of the base burnt, but not really burnt though. It's just more brown than it should be. But when you're doing yours, ensure that you are using enough oil. Okay, and then the frying technique of getting this white line is to allow the first part to brown before you flip over to the second part, and that gives you this perfect white line that you are seeing in this video. So for your donut, it has a frying technique which I just taught you now. So you can see how nice and yummy this looks. And the reason you don't use high heat to fry your donut is because it will just heat up, and then it will not get done inside, and you don't want that. So to get this perfect donut, do exactly what I have done. And for the bread, this is it in the oven, getting done, and voila, this is what we have. So guys, at this point, everything is ready. Okay, so you can see the bread rolls looking very nice, yummy and fluffy. My bread loaves are very, very, very thick, and they are very nice, color, parts, everything is just yummy the way it should be. So I'm just going to open up this bread rolls for you to see how the inside looks. Okay, so you can see how nice and fluffy these bread rolls are. Come on, what is there not to love about this? So this is one recipe you want to try at home, and while you are that, make sure that you comment on the comment section if you've tried out this recipe, and if you would want more yummier recipes than this. So this is it. You can see how yummy this looks. Okay, so I want you to try out this recipe. Honestly, you're going to love it, your family are going to love it. And I paired this bread with my akara. You want to watch the akara video?